All right, everybody, before we close tonight, if you'd like to mark the number, the song number will be 269. And we have several people to be praying for this week. Let's keep in mind the Vickeries, Julia, Mike, especially Julia with her recovery and their passing of their son. Let's also keep the Nichols in our prayers. Dick and Linda. Linda's still recovering, and Dick is in hospice. Several people recovering. Jill, Katie's sister, is recovering from her surgery. Eric Harsfett is also recovering, as well as Jessica. And we have Chloe traveling, and Joe Hester is going to be traveling here soon as well. And Richard is also away for work. And that's all I can remember. I'm sure there's more. Alright, so this week, or this coming week, we have Father's Day approaching. And it's time that we take to lift up fathers and to be thankful for fathers, or to look back on fathers who have passed away. There are many Bible examples of good fathers, and I'd like to highlight one of those tonight. During this time of year, there's probably thousands of the best dad in the world shirts and mugs and hats and whatever else they can print on. They sell thousands of those. But that title is up for debate. But at one point in time, it was pretty clear who the best father in the world was. Any guesses? The Lord. Jesus. Abraham, Isaac, well, in the world. So. Moses. That father was Noah. And I don't mean after the flood, when he was the only father in the world. He was the best father in the world while the world was in chaos. What's that? Right. In Genesis chapter 6, starting in verse 5, it says, "Then the Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every intent of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And the Lord was sorry that he had made man on the earth, and he was grieved in his heart. So the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, creeping thing, and birds of the air, for I am sorry that I have made them. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord." This is the genealogy of Noah. Noah was a just man, perfect in his generations. Noah walked with God, and Noah begot 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. The earth was also corrupt before God, and the earth was filled with violence. So God looked upon the earth, and indeed it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted their way on the earth. So in a world of wicked men, one man stood out, and Noah stood out among all the fathers on earth, not because he was the richest man or the most powerful businessman or the best barbecuer in the neighborhood. He stood out simply because he was a man of God. That was his most important attribute. And in that same way, we can stand out in this wicked world as Noah did. And in so doing, we find grace in the eyes of the Lord. In this passage, Noah is being described as just and perfect in his generations. Now, we don't know what kind of house Noah lived in or what his profession was. After the flood, it says he became a farmer. We don't know many things about him, but we do know that he was a good father because of God also spared his family, his sons, his wife, and his sons' wives. After God tells Noah how corrupt and violent the world has become, he says in Genesis 6:18, "I will establish my covenant with you, and you shall go into the ark, you, your sons, your wife, and your sons' wives with you. So Noah helped his family to not only survive physically the destruction of the earth, but he took care of them spiritually as well. He is a great example for us today, and there are many statistics regarding faithfulness of families in the church, or I think the stats that I found were kind of Christianity in general. But we can kind of take that with a grain of salt. One of the stats showed that how important it is to have faithful parents in the home. And one of these stats showed if neither parent attends church services, only 6% of children remain faithful. If only the mother attends, then 15% of children remain faithful. If only the father attends regularly, 55% of children remain faithful. And finally, if both mother and father attend regularly, 72% of children are likely to remain faithful. And so we see the impact of having godly parents raising godly children, and their children, and their children. In Proverbs 17:6 it says, "Children's children are the crown of old men, and the glory of children is their father." Fathers are needed in the home, but faithful fathers are needed even more. Because while it's great to have kids staying in school and staying out of trouble and being productive members of society, it's all the more important that faithful fathers are rearing faithful kids. In Hebrews chapter 11, verse 7, it says, "By faith Noah, being divinely warned of things not yet seen, moved with godly fear, prepared an ark for the saving of his household, by which he condemned the world and became heir of the righteousness which is according to faith." Noah's faith could very well be summed up in one verse from Genesis chapter 6, verse 22. "Thus Noah did, according to all that God commanded him, so he did." And so we must also do the things that our Father in heaven has commanded us. To love him with all of our being, to love our neighbors as ourselves, and to follow the precepts of Christ, to deny ourselves, and to follow him. So keep this in mind this week, to be more like Noah, to be more like Christ, recognizing that the faithfulness of others can be influenced by our own, and not just our own kids, but our parents, our cousins, our friends, and even strangers can find an opportunity to see Christ in us. So it's just a few words of encouragement this evening for that. I hope you all have a good rest of the week. If anybody has anything that they'd like to have announced or prayers, please do it now as we stand and sing.